although sewer lateral seems like a very sexy topic, I think the idea beyond it is really to get the information out, because this is not something that's a $25 item. You know, this is a big deal.
Hi, welcome to Whining About Real Estate. I'm Quincy Virgilio with the Virgilio team.
And I'm Nicolette Virgilio.
And today we have James Bailey with Bailey Plumbing.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Well, what wine are we drinking today, James?
I know.
Today,
Fun.
I bring to you the Whispering Angel, all the way from France.
Whoa.
This is one of their rosé blends. Very, very light, very fruit forward, great summer wine. Drinkable with or without food. So,
Perfect.
Excellent wine.
Well, welcome to Whining About Real Estate.
Cheers. Cheers, guys.
So, you know, a lot of municipalities, cities around our Bay Area come up with things called point of sale ordinances, where they figure out how to improve the systems that are people's houses, like low flow toilets, etc. In Morgan Hill, they've come up with a sewer ordinance, I believe, right?
That is correct. It's formerly known as the Private Sewer Lateral Program.
Mm-hmm.
Basically what that is, whenever you buy or sell a home, now you need to have your sewer line inspected, and upon inspection it will receive a pass or failing grade. If the inspection fails, then there will be some work required before the sale of the home in order to make that sale go through.
Yeah, so the city of Morgan Hill has determined that the seller is responsible, or perhaps they can negotiate to the buyer, I understand. But let's talk a little bit about the process that you have to go through, the requirements, who can do those inspections, and who can do those repairs.
And what it costs.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, well, let me try to unpack that. That was quite a little bit in there. So essentially, when you decide to sell your home, you're going to get a bunch of different type of inspections. You're going to get a general inspection. Now you're going to be getting a sewer specific inspection. This is required by the city of Morgan Hill. You must be a NASCO certified sewer line inspector. There are only a few in the area currently. Bailey Plumbing is one of those. So we're here to help you guys out if you need those inspections. That inspection needs to be done, and then if it passes, then you don't have to do any more work. You just get your certificate and you pass that on to the buyer. If you end up failing, then you'll receive basically a failing grade, but also an estimate for what it's going to take to bring that sewer line up to snuff. Mm-hmm. And then you can either do the work yourself, or you can pass it on to the new buyer. And the buyer would have 6 months, basically upon taking ownership of the home, to be able to get that work done. If the work is not done within 6 months, they are threatening to turn off the utilities, such as the water and or electricity to the home, to make sure that that does get done.
So you don't have to be certified to do the work, but you have to be certified to inspect it?
Correct. So you have to be certified to do the inspection. You can get the work done by any licensed plumber that you'd like. They don't specifically have to be NASCO certified. But where you run into a lot of issues is that you still need to call back a NASCO certified contractor to come back and do the re-inspection. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of, it makes sense to just work with someone who's already certified.
Right.
Number one, because it's a one-stop shop. But number two, they actually can identify the work that does need to be done, and then they'll do the re-inspection. Like for us, if we come out and inspect your home and then do the work, we actually do the re-inspection at no additional charge.
Right.
So I've had instances where we did the inspection and then they had someone else do the work, but they did not do the proper scope. And so when we came back to re-inspect, it still failed. And then we ended up actually having to finish the scope of work anyways, to help the buyer be able to take ownership.
And there's approved vendors like yourself by the city, right? So
that is correct.
Right.
So they have a little website that you can go to, and it'll list the local certified contractors that can do these inspections.
People get home inspections all the time.
Oh yeah.
So when we represent sellers, we get a home inspection, and in that home inspection, it has electrical, plumbing, heating, air conditioning, whatever, maybe not the roof, because we do roof separate and chimney separate.
Yeah.
But, so is that sufficient?
No, this is a very specific inspection of the inside of the sewer lateral. Your general home inspection doesn't cover it, and the folks that are doing these general inspections are typically not qualified to do this type of work. You definitely need a certified plumbing contractor to do this, specifically because doing these inspections, gaining access to the pipe can be very difficult, and also running the camera and using the equipment while inside the pipe can be pretty technical as well. Somebody who's not certified could easily mess those things up, and it'll end up causing you a lot more problems down the line. What a lot of companies will do is they'll end up sending like somebody, you know, to come out and do the inspection who's not certified, and they don't put the proper skid plate on the camera. They're doing a pullback inspection too fast, and they're not actually catching you know what's wrong. Like I had one misdiagnosed. It was just some ABS glue like hanging from the sewer line, and because he went so fast, he says, "Oh, it's a root intrusion. That line failed." And then when I ran it, because I went nice and slow and had my skid on there, I was clearly able to determine it was not roots. And so we ended up saving that homeowner a lot of time, hassle, and money because of our expertise.
Do you guys like train, practice to do it slow enough? Or
Yeah, you can't pull back more than 1 foot per second.
Oh, wow.
So there is an actual you know, ratio, and there is kind of a method to it. And then having the proper skid plate on there, making sure you're using the proper size camera. We also use, our cameras are all 1080p, which are super high definition. Some of these other companies are using very, very low end or low grade cameras that can't really determine. And when you can't determine something, that's going to lead you to a failing line more times than they'll lead you to a passing
I think we read a ton of inspections, and there's all a lot of general terms about plumbing regardless.
Absolutely.
So an inspection like this, although required in certain areas right now, seems as though it should be everywhere. So let's talk about cost.
Yeah, so you brought up a really good point, and I will get to the cost in just a second. Essentially what's happening is the city sewer lines are becoming overly impacted. What's happening is when your sewer line has an offset or a break or root intrusion inside one of those connections, that allows groundwater to get into the sewer line. And what that does is it goes down there, and it basically puts a lot of strain on the city's infrastructure. And then more importantly, the manholes that you see in the street, that's where the sewer lines are. If those back up, they actually run into the storm drain right there on the curb. So what they don't want is our unsanitary, untreated water backing up into the street, flowing out to the storm drains. So that's like the number one reason that cities and municipalities are starting to implement this, is because the broken lines that homeowners have are basically having a huge impact on the city's infrastructure.
So maybe it's age related then, because over time these things all deteriorate, right? Or break down.
It is. There's a lot of things that cause pipes to fail. There's ground shift, root intrusion, age, you know, bad installation to begin with. There's a ton of things, but a lot of what we're seeing is just older type of infrastructure. So that's the reason why cities are doing this. They're probably not going to back off. Like, this isn't something they're going to implement for the next few years and then stop. This is going to be like a forever thing moving forward. Like, it's here to stay. It's not going to go anywhere. It also does kind of make sense, right? Like, when you sell your car, you have to make sure it passes smog before you can sell your car.
Right.
This is no different than that. It's just on your house. Now, as far as cost, we're going to go through a couple different costs. The cost of the inspection is basically anywhere between $300 and $500. It just depends on the type of access that you have, how long your line is, and how long the inspection takes. That's that. Now, if you don't have any access to get into the line, there could be additional charges that we would have to create an opening in your pipe, which usually involves digging into the ground, finding the sewer line, and then creating an access point.
So there's homes that don't have access?
Yeah, unfortunately there are.
I actually don't have access at my house.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
what is
seems
it called?
odd.
A clean out?
It's called a clean out.
Yeah, I don't have that
The clean
for
out is a
whatever reason.
serviceable access point.
Yeah.
And they were made popular basically like in the late 80s. But prior to that, like if your home is 1985 and older,
Yeah.
there's a really good chance that you don't have a clean out. Now, working with a plumbing contractor, we can do some pretty inventive things. We can go on the roof and go through one of your vents. Depending on your setup inside the house, we could pull a toilet. So we have other means of doing this, but sometimes the only way to do it is to just do an actual tap, right there into the main sewer.
And what does that cost?
That would be the most expensive type of access, and you're anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500, depending on the depth. We did have one where we ended up digging that up, and there was roots right there. So we it was actually a 2-for-1. So we ended up creating the access, and we got rid of at least one of the root intruded areas.
So
helping them pass.
when you create the access, now that's there for.
And then that's
They have
there
a clean out
forever.
now. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay,
So
good. I got it.
a clean out's actually good for many things. It's good for maintaining the line, servicing the line,
Sure.
and then for these inspections
Sure.
as well. So and you can use it basically forever.
So it's good to have a clean out.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So $300 to $500 for inspections. On the most expensive type of access would be that clean out we're talking about, and that can be $1,500 to $2,500. If you just had to like pull a toilet, it's $100 to $300 to pull a toilet and put it back on while we perform the inspection. Just remember though, if there's a re-inspection from another company or anything, they're going to charge that again because they're going to have to keep doing that. So this thing can get kind of expensive. And then there's two types. There's either repair or replacement. So on a repair, on a sewer pipe in up to 3 feet, you're probably looking anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000 for a repair, and then for a replacement, anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 for a basic replacement.
Now that's the upper line.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's we're learning a lot about sewers today.
Yeah, we are. We're getting deep.
Homeowners actually don't realize this, but they actually, you have 2 laterals. So the pipe that goes from your house to the sidewalk, which is called the upper lateral, and then you have your lower lateral, which is the pipe that goes from the sidewalk to the middle of the street or that manhole area. Okay. If you have to replace both laterals and you're going into the street, that is going to involve not only a plumbing contractor, but a Class A engineering contractor to do the street putback. And so they have to dig out the street, do the trench plates. We have to do traffic control. You have to submit a plan to the city.
Wow.
And if your line happens to be on the other side of the street, you're going to do that in 2 phases because you can't block the whole street. You got to do one on this day and then put everything back and then do another one the next day. So that is, can get super expensive. Our goal at Bailey Plumbing is to repair and or service anything in the lower lateral as humanly possible without trying to replace them. There are some lining options. There's some lining options where, depending on what is broken and how bad and where it is, we could get away with doing some lining options, but not everybody qualifies for that. But those are the things, as a certified plumbing contractor, we're going to check for, and we're going to let you know if that's even available to you. Whereas somebody who's just doing the inspection that doesn't understand plumbing, they're not going to make those options available.
Are there any programs currently available to help either side of the fence here get these done?
Yes, actually, good question. So the
That's all I have.
So the city does have 2 programs. They have a repair grant program. So anything that does not involve replacing the entire line, the upper and lower, is considered a repair. So even if I replace the whole line out to your sidewalk, in the city's eyes, that's a repair.
Okay.
They will credit you up to basically up to $2,000, but it has to be 50% of the cost. So like on a $4,000 line, they would credit you the full $2,000.
Got it.
Now, if you were going to do a full replacement, they have that same program, but it's up to $5,000 because the cost there does get pretty significant.
Closer
Right.
to 25,000. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but if we're talking $20,000, I mean, 5,000 is wonderful,
Sure,
but
it's
it's still a
helpful.
lot of money.
It's still quite a bit of money.
And so planning ahead when thinking about selling, because if you
Yeah.
don't,
Well,
timing though, I mean, if you know that it's gonna be $20,000 to
Yeah.
fix,
well, and now it just comes in Morgan Hill, and where this ever spreads in other communities, and I know it will spread,
Yeah.
is that we have to have this type of inspection as part of our, regular inspections, because you want to know. The other thing I was just thinking about, how do I know as a home buyer down the road, say I'm buying a home in San Jose and this is coming, how do I know if my street, my pipes are on this side of the street or that side of the street, so that I can think about that when I have to sell?
It's something we nobody thinks about, but you just look at the manhole. So if you look there, manholes are either placed on the right side of the street, directly in the middle, or on the left side.
Okay.
And so you'll never see manholes on both sides because there's one line per street,
Got it.
and then both dump into it. So if you happen to be the unlucky, homeowner where your house is here, but your manhole's all the way on the other side of the street, and you have problems in that lower lateral, that's going to be an
so
issue.
now we're gonna be highlighting
For
our
sure.
listings where the manhole's located in our top sentence.
Not only is it
There you go.
south facing, but the manhole cover is right in front of your door.
You're good.
For sure. It's not something you think about every day, but certainly has a huge impact for cost.
So
and
currently,
stuff like
where
that.
is this mandated? It's not only Morgan Hill, but it's also where?
Santa Cruz County
Oh, yeah.
is already doing this, and then they also have a very similar program up in Alameda County.
Okay.
So Santa Clara County has not adopted it, but I'm sure they're going to be right behind, and
Right.
that's going to include San Jose and basically the
Yeah.
Bay Area.
I think San Mateo tried it too, or had a sewer lateral proposal. I don't know if it went through or not. They were trying up there a few years back. It may be enforced. I don't know.
Yeah,
But,
it's definitely, it's like I said, it's only gonna get more restrictive in terms of that because the city cannot basically afford all of this extra
Right,
processing
and that's why it becomes point of sale. You want to sell your house, you got to do this, and you're picking up the city's tab on that, right?
Yeah. I mean, we figure with all the property tax that we pay here in the Bay Area, it should be something that is covered. But I mean, the cost is so significant. I mean, it's
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. Yeah, for sure.
Well, this is awesome information, and I'm glad
Excellent.
you were able to hear and share it with us today.
Yeah, thank you.
I also want to point out that you're a regular plumber too, not just sewer laterals, right?
Not just a regular one. Owns his own plumbing company.
Yeah, so we're a full service residential plumbing company. We basically do everything from your basic, faucet install, garbage disposal install, take care of if your line is backed up, all the way to a full replacement. Waste, water, gas systems, sewer systems, and all that stuff.
So one final question. This only comes up because when we get our home inspections and they give us a general, the plumbing is copper or there's a leak over here, a leak over there. How important do you think it is that we now start incorporating individual plumbing inspections, not just because of sewer lateral, but in other people's homes? Like if I was to sell my house today, would you recommend that would be a better way to be able to not only just protect the seller, but to protect the buyer
Right.
coming in?
For
that,
disclosure.
this is the subject. This is your plumbing. This is the state of your plumbing.
Absolutely. I'm obviously I'm in it. I live, eat, sleep, and breathe plumbing.
In a sewer. You're like a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, basically Donatello.
James
And
Donatello.
so because of this, I've seen firsthand the damage that can be caused from a waste or water system.
Yeah.
And definitely a gas system, is nothing to mess around with.
Right.
If you think about it, those are three separate systems, but they are major systems within the home. I would highly recommend, like you said, you do a roofing inspection separate,
Right.
electrical, plumbing, and mechanical. Those four are the meat and potatoes of any home. Okay, everything else is cosmetic or can be
Sure.
be fixed at reasonable costs.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a real value add.
Foundation too. Foundation's a big one.
Yeah, well, I think it's a real value add though to be able to have that kind of confidence in what you're selling and what you're buying too.
Right.
So in a way, that's great. And not only is he a great plumber, he brought great wine.
Hey, thank you.
Well,
Cheers.
thank you for
Cheers.
joining us.
Hey, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. And one last thing, Nicolette and Quincy are so awesome. I've worked with you guys for many, many years. I really appreciate you. You guys are experts at what you do. And I'd also like to extend a special discount to any of your customers that contact Bailey Plumbing for one of these inspections or any type of repair. They would receive a friends and family discount of 15% off their service.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you very much, James.
Cheers.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, cheers guys.
Salud.
All right.
If you like this, found this useful, we definitely appreciate the like, share, comment. Let us know what questions you have. We are happy to help you with any of your questions and needs around real estate. Thank you so much for joining us today.